Morning everyone. Before I start on my experiments with the FW and Bombay inks, I just wanted to share some other experiments with the Dilutions and Radiant Rains. I noticed that I was receiving quite a lot of comments asking about what paper I had used, and I'm sorry I forgot to explain that it was the reverse side of the photo paper that I had used for my Dilutions experiment. But it got me thinking as to what the effect would be using cardstock or mixed media paper. So I've tried it for you. This is the Dilutions, the same two colours, cherry pie and lemon zest. You have to excuse my throat. I've got a bit of a sore throat today. But I sprayed it on in exactly the same way. This is mixed media paper. Bear with me and I'll tell you which mixed media paper it is. Mine is the Daler Rowney £169 mixed media paper, and as I say, I sprayed it on in the same way and then just dropped the alcohol into the ink, did some splattering as well, and that's the effect. I also tried it on just regular cardstock. This is just cheap cardstock here, and you can see if I hold it like that, you in fact it's probably better that way, isn't it? You might get more in, so you can see the difference. So the effect is much better on the mixed media paper, but you do get quite a lot of warping with this, and it does seep through to the back, but still, I mean, much more vibrant on paper than it is on the reverse side of your photo paper. But this is by far my favourite. I mean, you know, the colours are much more diluted and dulled down. It must react in some way with the photo paper, but I just absolutely love the effect you get. I think the inks sit on top of the paper rather than sinking in. And that's what causes the effect. And I've done exactly the same thing with the Radiant Rain as well. And you can see the difference here, that the green, this was the bamboo. I haven't got it to hand, so I can't tell you what it is. But you don't lose any of the colour by doing this. This is on mixed media paper. But again, I much prefer the effect of doing it on the reverse side of the photo paper. So there you go. That's a couple of more comparisons for you. Anyway, let me have a clear away, get my Bombay and FWs out, and we'll start playing again. I've had some mixed results with the Dr. P.H. Martin's Bombay inks and the FW acrylics. This one here was done by dropping the ink onto the dabber, putting some alcohol on top and smushing it around. I then dropped some ink on top and then some alcohol onto the ink, and that's what happened. So that just didn't work at all. Then secondly, and let me move these in, another hot mess. This is the Bombays and the those two there are the India Bombay inks, so the Dr. P.H. Martin's, and here is the FW acrylic inks. Let me just move those around and I'll explain how I did these. The top ones, I sprayed the paper. This is the reverse side of photo paper. I sprayed the photo paper with water, then added my inks on top, and instantly you could see the inks disperse. And then I put droplets of the alcohol on top. But because this is a non-porous paper, you can see that the ink is just pooling, and that's going to take forever to dry. And of course it goes all muddy because all the ink just merged into one. This one I did slightly differently. I put droplets of the colour on top first on dry paper. So again, this is the reverse side of the photo paper. Then I sprayed my water on top, and you get a bit of splattering, which I quite like. Then I dropped in the alcohol. Let me just check that you're in shot. Yes, you are. Then I dropped in the alcohol, and you know, it all dispersed. But again, because it's non-porous paper, it's all pooling again. So a bit of a hot mess there too. This is the FW acrylics. This one was where I applied the water first and then dropped in the inks and then the alcohol. This was dropping in the colour, the alcohol and then, sorry, the colour, spraying with water and then dropping in the alcohol. So those really, in my opinion, are not a great success. They're just too muddy. So let me just put those to one side, because hopefully you'll like what I've achieved with the next experiments. Right, first of all, these were done, let me move those out of the way. These were done on mixed media paper. This is my Daler Rowney, hang on, let me just reach down and get it. This is Daler Rowney, £169 mixed media paper. And again, what I've done with these is I sprayed the mixed media paper with water, squirt, squirt, squirt. Then I dropped the colour on top, and again, sort of it disperses really nicely. And then I just dropped the alcohol ink on top, and then did a bit of a splatter thing as well. And I just really like the effects of these. Let's have a look and see. So these are the Bombay inks. And I chose blue, magenta, orange and green. So there were 4 colours in that. In fact, 4 colours in that one. I think this one was just orange, magenta and blue. And then these ones here are the FW acrylics. I personally like the Bombay inks better. I just think they're much, much prettier. And then the one technique that I like the best, let me just show you. So let's move those out of the way. Are these 2 here, and I'm just going to show you how I achieved this technique. Right, so I just want to try this on some £169 mixed media paper. Mine's Daler Rowney. Now you will need to wet your mixed media paper first, and it will warp. Let's do one at a time. So this is the Bombay ink, and just look at that spread. It's just beautiful. And then let's drop in some alcohol before it warps too much. Splatter some over the top as well. And you see again, what a pretty effect. So we'll leave that to one side and have a look and see how that looks when it's dry. Right, I'm going to do the same now with the FWs. So let's drop some in. The Bombays are much more vibrant, can you see? And then I've got some of the metallic blue here. In fact, it's just the pink that isn't as bright. The blue and the orange are. But again, you see, that reacts well. Let's do some splattering. Right, okay, so this is just a piece of £169 mixed media paper. These are the Bombay inks. I've got violet, teal and red violet, and I'm just going to put a drop of each on the paper, or a couple of drops. There we are. Let me move those out of the way so that I don't end up with a big spillage. And then I've got my paintbrush here, just loaded up with plain water. And so we're just going to spread this around. I mean, that just looks really pretty already, doesn't it? And then what have I done with the alcohol? Here we go. So this is the 99.8% alcohol. And we're just going to drop that in. And I just think that's lovely. Let's do some splattering. And when that's dry, that just looks absolutely gorgeous. Let's try another one with the Bombay, with the FW pearlescent inks this time. Right, again, I've got a blue. These are, in fact, this one isn't. This one is I keep thinking this is metallic, and it's not. This is processed cyan. And then this one is pearlescent, not metallic. This one's moon violet, and this one here is sundown magenta. So let's give those a bit of a shake, and let's drop some of this on. Would help if I'd open them first, but never mind. These are such pretty colours. Move those out of the way, and again I've got a paintbrush here loaded up with some water, so let's spread this around. There we are. In fact, let me just pour in some more alcohol. I'm just pouring it into the bottle lid. And I just think that's really pretty. Let's have a bit of a splatter. So here's the results of my playtime. I love these. So this was just blending a couple of different colours on with my paintbrush and dropping the alcohol ink on top. I've got some metallic in there that's got, because I've sort of stacked and I've got so many pieces of paper sort of here, there and everywhere, but I just absolutely love some of these effects. That one's gorgeous. So I hope you like those. And for any of you that have watched any of my previous videos, you'll probably know that I'm not one to give up when something goes wrong, and I will just persevere until I can work through it. So the pieces that I did on the reverse side of photo paper earlier with the FW and acrylic inks that had pooled absolutely everywhere, I grabbed a couple of pieces of mixed media paper and I've literally dabbed all the excess ink off like this. So that's all the excess ink. Let me just put those there, and I just think those are absolutely beautiful. So it's a complete sort of mishmash of all kinds of things, but great background. Those would be great for ATCs. And here they are. So now that they haven't got the pooling, these have actually turned out rather nice. Let's put them on, especially these. I love these ones here. I think those are the Bombay inks. So yes, they are. The Bombay inks have come out as my favourites. I think that's Bombay ink too, whereas this is the FW with the neon pink here. But yeah, so those are really pretty. They're not completely dry, and they're going to need some wax over the top as well, because those will be sticky. And then the other thing that I've got to show you as well, let me just move those out of the way. As I have been ending up with pooling on my drop sheet, I mean, just look at my drop sheet. Wow, that's going to be an amazing piece as well, isn't it? I have just taken some scraps of the mixed media paper and I've just been dipping it in as I've gone along, and I've got these two lovely pieces here that I'll be able to use for something else. So anyway, I hope you liked that series of my experimenting. I've run out of ideas now, but if anybody has got anything that they'd like me to test, drop me a line, and if I've got it, I'll give it a go for you. But let me know what you've thought about this whole series, and hopefully give me a thumbs up. Look at the state of me, I'm covered in ink. Anyway, take care everyone, and I'll see you all again soon.